Happy Tuesday, everyone, other than Eagles fans, and welcome to the Early Edge. We have a great show filled with MLB, soccer, and a little bit of early looks at the NFL. I see everybody in the chat. Everybody's talking about this Eagles-Falcons game. We're going to get right to that, but before we do that, let's take a look at how we did yesterday, the morning edition, the night game. More green than red here, so that's good. I think if I tallied them up correctly, it's 9-7 overall. Great stuff from Danny Brasco, EC, and the Sniper. Not only does he give you 2 wins, but he went ahead and gave you a plus 162. Absolutely love to see it. I cover my Falcons plus 5.5. Pretty good day overall. We do want to do better than 9-7, but don't forget some of that plus money in there, plus 162 from the Sniper. Let's take a look at the Sniper right now. Let's bring in the stars of the show. It was Liddy in the chat that said Sniper has been on fire. Moshi, David, Alex, Brad, Chris, Mark, thank you for being in here. Hit the like button if you could. Larry, I got to start with you because I think it's consensus that Nick Sirianni made the wrong call. I don't have as much of an objection to it. I understand the math. I don't have as much of an objection to it as the entire world does. Everybody's on the same page. I assume you're on that page as well.
Yeah, the Falcons had 9 in the box, but you still got to run the ball there. ESPN had a great stat they flashed on the screen. Saquon leads all running backs in drops since 2021 with like 16 drops. I wonder if the Eagles knew that when they called that play. There's just no reason for it because you can run twice and pick up 3 yards. You are the team that does that against stacked boxes. So to me, there was no need. And then Jalen Hurts, they had plenty of time to go down and get the winning field goal. And he just decided, I'm throwing to Devonta Smith no matter what, no matter if he's double covered, no matter if a guy coming in my face, he could have thrown it away. He could have scrambled. He could have even taken a sack and kept their hopes alive. So just poor all around. But the Falcons, I think, did rediscover their identity, which is Bijan Robinson. And then Kirk Cousins got in a rhythm late. So a whole different outlook just based on that one drop.
Yeah, lost in all of the excitement and criticism is that Kirk Cousins really orchestrated an amazing, flawless drive at the end of the game to win the game. But yeah, Larry, I hear you. I think most people agree with you on that. It was such an easy pitch and catch. I understand the drops thing, but I mean, I would think any pass catcher, running back or otherwise, would catch that 99 out of 100 times. But apparently, I'm wrong there. Sniper, it looked like you had a reaction to that as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, 2 things. It's not quite as easy as it might look to get the fake, run out, and turn around. And at the last, right when you turn around to get your hands up and catch it for a running back, that's way different than a receiver whose job is to do that. There are just he does need to catch that, but there are just far too many variables there to call that play. Far too many variables to stop the clock for the Falcons like that. Give them the extra time, especially when you have a defense who never rushes the passer and isn't going to get after him when they're trying to furiously go up the field. It was more the play call than the drop for me, even though he does need to catch that. It was just too cute.
Buckets, I assume you watched the end of Monday Night Football last night as well. Your reaction?
And he's muted.
Oh, no. He's muted, but he doesn't look muted. So I'll come back to you.
For us. So
it doesn't say mute for us. Buckets, I'll come back to you. We do have your soccer picks to get. Let's see if we can hear you.
Hello, test.
There we go. Did you like not watch the game, so you were pretending to talk? But like,
no, I didn't watch the game. But my comment was, without watching the game, I know that I would have caught that ball, whatever you're talking about. So
definitely.
Truth is, Buckets, you would have caught the ball. I mean, it was that easy.
Just like you would go to a batting cage and rake, and then he just bunted every time.
Yeah, exactly. Saquon got his hands up late. That's for sure. Yes. Looking at the replay, but Sniper, he is a running back, so I mean, you can't have that wide receiver expectation from him. But again, I think he was thinking of where he was on the field so that he could get down and bounce. Not that it would really matter, but I know he wanted to make the perfect play after the catch. I think that was on his mind.
Too might have been thinking about a touchdown too.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to score there. Like the very specific instruction was not to score batting cage bunts. Brad is laughing at that, among others. All right, let's turn the page to some soccer. Buckets, we got a couple plays for the pitch.
Not just plays for the pitch, Sia. We have plays for the Champions League, the return of the greatest competition, not only in the soccer universe, but on the planet. And I'm going to start with my 2 first picks for the Champions League under their new format. And we're looking at the matchup between Juventus and PSV Eindhoven. And this is a very tricky one for a lot of reasons, but I'm going to give an analogy. This is what happens when you I don't remember the analogy. Something with a rock that doesn't move very hard and people that, or something that can't move the rock. You guys know what I'm talking about. Juventus is a defensively solid unit. They have not conceded a single goal yet this season. 4 matches played, 6 goals scored, 0 conceded. Meanwhile, PSV Eindhoven are one of the best attacking units on the planet. In their 5 opening matches, they scored 20 goals. So Juventus, as much as they would like to play this for a cagey, scrappy 0-0, 1-0 victory, that just doesn't happen when you're going against Luc de Jong, Gust Hill, Malik Tillman, and the other strikers here at PSV. I'm taking both teams to score at -120, and I say that knowing that both teams to score has not hit on a Juventus game yet. That changes this afternoon in the Champions League. Then for my second bet, I'm going to look at my boys here. FC Bayern Munich, Stern des Students, taking on Croatian side, Dinamo Zagreb. This is going to be an absolute slaughter. I wish I had Martin Green here because he could say some much better sounding words with his accent to make this sound good. But Bayern Munich should win this game and win this game by scoring 4 or 5 goals against the Dinamo Zagreb side that is great in Croatia, but is not ready for this level of competition. I'm taking over 1.5 goals in the first half, also at -120. And if you want to take Bayern Munich to score 2 in the first half, that's +130 to get a little more bang for your buck there, Sia.
So Brad's trying to help you, Buckets. He says, were you trying to say when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object?
That's the one, yes.
Because I was like rocking a hard place. Like, where are we going with this? But I think
2 birds, 1 stone, something like that.
Okay, now we're just okay. Yeah, that's fine. Love the picks. Brad, thanks for helping out. Eric, David, Steve, thanks for being in the chat. Hit the like button if you could. If you want to make those bets or the bets you're about to hear from Sniper, which I'm quite certain you will want to bet because he's on such a nice little run here throughout the entire baseball season, you go to BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. All right, we got a little bit more to get to. I should say a lot more to get to. We've only gone through soccer. We got MLB. We got some NFL. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners. We're back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. All right, Sniper, you hit us with a 2 for 2 yesterday, including a +162. I had my eyes on that game. I did actually bet the money line because it was a reasonable price. You cashed way better than I did because I got minus what by the time I got it, actually did the first 5. It was like -135. You hit it at +162. You got another plus number kind of in this one. Start us off with the Orioles.
Well, yeah, what's interesting about that game last night, the Astros scored a run in the top of the 8th to cut it to 2-1, and I was just kicking myself. But then Jurickson Profar, who has been so clutch this year, hit a bomb in the bottom of the 8th to get us home. I will go to Baltimore on this one. It's around even money. At some places -102, -103 or so, but I kind of have a gut feeling on the Orioles. I know they have not been going well so far, and this number is like this because Blake Snell is on the mound for the Giants, and I think a lot of people are going to be scared off because of Blake Snell, but his ERA on the road is almost 2 runs worse than he is in San Francisco's spacious Oracle Park. So, also, if you're into this sort of thing, he has a 7+ ERA in his career in Camden Yards. So not the best spot for him there. And like I said, the Orioles have been lackluster, but they had a day off. Now they're coming back home. They do need to get right here in these last 2 weeks to make a run at the AL East title. They're 3 games behind the Yankees. And the Giants have been a lot worse recently. Even if you look at the Orioles and think, oh, they haven't played that well, the Giants have lost 15 of 22. They're completely falling apart. There was a story in The Athletic about how Buster Posey had to negotiate the contract extension with Matt Chapman instead of Farhan Zaidi. The front office is in disarray. This team's in disarray. So I am fading the Giants. I'm going with the Orioles to get right here at home. Also, going to go to Cleveland. Speaking of somebody who is not right at all, the Minnesota Twins have been brutal in about the past month. They've lost 18 of the last 27. They've got Zebby Matthews on the hill with the 7.11 ERA. The bullpen in those last 27 games has a 5.47 ERA. On the flip side of that, the Guardians have gotten right. They were bad in August, but they're 10-5 so far in September. They're going to end up sealing this division here pretty soon. 46-25 at home. I think a lot of people might be scared off by Gavin Williams' home splits. He has a terrible ERA at home, but it's only been 5 games. I think it's a small sample fluke. And really, the Twins just have not been that good at all, so I don't care that much about it. Plus, when he was in Minnesota, he dominated the Twins. So I really like the Guardians to get this one. And that's not that bad of a number. Again, I think probably because of Gavin Williams' home numbers. And also home run pick, kind of a little sprinkle if we want to throw that out there. Ryan Feltner of the Rockies on the mound in Coors Field. He has a tendency to give up home runs at home, especially to left-handed hitters. The Diamondbacks have Jock Peterson, Corbin Carroll, and Pavin Smith. If you want to run with one of those guys, have at it.
Very interesting. Thanks for dropping the home run play. I've got a question for you, Sniper. Steve Folkerts mentions in the chat, referring to your Orioles pick, Giants out of the race, motivation may not be there. I like the pick. Now, those are always interesting because Blake Snell's still a good pitcher and is probably going to go out there. But on the other end of it, you got the rest of the team. Have you found in your capping or just your writing for baseball and following baseball for as many years as you have, that some of those players just kind of, aren't really super invested when they're officially or pretty close to out of the playoffs?
I don't really think there's any correlation at all. High-priced veterans maybe would dial it back because it doesn't really matter and they've already gotten their contract or whatever. But there are a lot of guys still playing for jobs in Major League Baseball and still playing for their next contract and still trying to look good. There's pride. There's playing for your next contract. There's being a professional. In a way, baseball is less, let's say, like basketball, where you have to be a cohesive unit of 5 players on the floor. It's a game that masquerades as a team game, but it's a series of individual matchups. So it's pretty much all at bats. It's guys playing for themselves as individuals when they're at the plate. So I don't think that's as big of a deal. I just think the Giants aren't that good.
Okay, Buckets, I got a question for you. There is a question from Greatest Poet Alive, and he's setting me up so bad because I don't know how to pronounce this name. So I'm just going to go with Jokeris, first goal scorers sprinkle. Any thoughts there? Oh, that's that dude. Okay, you got to watch us on YouTube to know what I was just referencing.
Victor Gyokeres is our absolute boy. Play him to score first. Play him to score anytime. Play him to score a brace. Right now, he has $1 million price tag on his head going into the next transfer period. If he scores in the Champions League, that tag only goes up. So these games matter a whole lot for who is one of, if not the best goal scorer currently in Europe. Absolutely love it, Sia.
And Buckets, do you have a volleyball update? Because I think it's Ryan Kofter that wants to know.
Did you not hear?
I did not hear.
So about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I partially tore my meniscus and was told no jumping, no squatting, no anything volleyball related pretty much for 6 to 8 weeks, unless I want to risk it and get surgery. I am a gambling man, but I'm terrified of surgery. So I've been taking it real easy and just kind of hanging out for a bit.
All right. Fair enough. Just rest up. Okay. I didn't know that. I apologize.
I've been on the.
I was going to say I had a meniscus surgery in November of 2022. If you have somebody to wait on you, which my wife did, not that bad. Just kind of watch TV for 2 weeks and do nothing. And then
I'd be relying entirely on a dog that doesn't like me sometimes. So it'd be a little 50-50, but yeah, staying away from the surgery if I can.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Get better. Let's go to, speaking of getting better, what a transition. I'm going to an early look NFL play. Now, the Thursday show on CBS Sports Network, which I believe gets posted on YouTube later. Maestro's on that one, among others. I believe RJ White, Mike McClure, and I think Will Brinson hosts that one. But I'm going to go ahead and give you an early pick on a Tuesday morning. This is kind of me taking the bait a little bit. Don't get me wrong, but I like that I'm getting the 49ers -7 because most books have this at 7.5. I would defer to, even if your book has it at 7.5, buying the alt line at something shorter than minus 130 because I think that hook does matter. I think this game, the 49ers Rams, it's in Los Angeles, which really means it's a Niners game. It's probably, from a crowd standpoint, probably a home game for the 49ers, coming off a bad loss. And we know the Rams are just so unhealthy, not just at the skill position players, Puka Nacua out, Cooper Kupp out, but also on the offensive line. And this defensive line for the Niners can get after you. I respect Sean McVay's ability to use the parts that he has and be really good. But when you're going up against Kyle Shanahan, who's just as good of a coach, if not better, you got some problems. If it was any other team, I would probably defer to the banged up Rams. But I like the Niners to pull away in this one, even though they don't have Christian McCaffrey and they don't have Deebo Samuel. I think it's going to be the Jordan Mason show. I think the defense is going to be able to create pressure, potentially create turnovers, maybe close early, but I think the Niners pull away late, again, behind Jordan Mason. I'll be looking at his props as well when they come out. So I've got the 49ers on the road, but not really, covering 7 points. And I'll note that Hufanga might be back on the back end for the 49ers. They're a strong safety. So if he's back, that's certainly going to help in that one. Larry, before you give out your baseball pick, any thoughts on my Niners play? Am I a sucker for laying 7? I mean, we just saw all the underdogs cover last week.
You got to check Nick Bosa's status. That's another one I would be worried about if I had your side. I definitely wouldn't play the Rams, and I think 7 is a great number to get. They're just a mess. They couldn't run the ball at all. They have the cheapest defense in the NFL. They lost their defensive captain, or they traded him because they couldn't agree on a contract right before the season. No Aaron Donald makes a big difference. It was alarming to see how easily Arizona moved the ball and scored at will. So, yeah, I would only look your way.
Yeah, and I'll say this. They get the benefit. The Rams get the benefit of not having a running quarterback because Kyler Murray, is very tough to cover at times. So Brock Purdy's just going to sit back in the pocket, but I think he's going to find holes in this defense. Larry, like you said, they didn't spend a lot of money on the defensive side of the ball, and I think it's really going to show the rest of this season, especially if you can't keep your offense on the field, which I trust the Rams will not be able to do. All right, Larry, we've transitioned from NFL to Major League Baseball. You've got a popular play, at least popular play as it pertains to yesterday. I just said I had a money line play on them. Sniper hit them at plus 162 run line. Who do you got?
Yeah, they're the hottest team in baseball over the last 2 months. The San Diego Padres on a 36-15 tear. This is a good price, I think, against the Houston Astros. It's a good pitching matchup with King against Hunter Brown, but the Padres are just on an incredible roll. They're selling out Petco. They're 2.5 ahead for the top wild card spot. They've only given up 4 runs total in their 4-game win streak. And what I like is just how good they are against right-handed pitching. 275 batting average, by far the best in baseball. 3rd in OPS at 766. It's Luis Arraez bobblehead night. I hope he's in the lineup. He jammed his knee last night. Supposedly he's going to be good to go. I hope that's the case. This guy had not struck out in 141 plate appearances until last night. Just incredible in this day and age of Major League Baseball where guys strike out all the time, what he's done. But I just love the way this lineup is hitting and working the counts. They had 13 hits yesterday, even though they didn't put up a ton of runs. Going to keep riding the Padres down the stretch.
All right. Yeah. I mean, the Padres absolutely red hot. It looks like Gipper's picks, Jason Pogwist has the Niners at minus 6.5 that he got on an alt line at minus 130. I don't hate that at all. I wouldn't go beyond minus 130 there, but 6.5 I certainly like. I was just kind of scanning to see if there were any other NFL picks, but Buckets, you've got something.
Not NFL picks, but I saw a question from Brandon in the chat asking about AC Milan versus Liverpool, which is probably the biggest match today in terms of star power. Frankly, I have no idea how to bet that game. If I had to do a lean, I would do AC Milan double chance at minus 120. Liverpool is a really good team, but they're just difficult to predict under Arne Slot right now. And AC Milan at home at San Siro, picking up a draw would probably not be a bad result for either team. So I lean a draw, but double chance there, Brandon.
Okay, and we got a question from Scott Y. Sniper that I'm going to bounce off of you. Cubs money line. Any thoughts in that one? You're on mute.
Sorry about that.
That's
I just
right.
didn't want Buckets to feel as bad about earlier.
Very nice.
Yes, I think they're probably safe there. I mean, playing at home against the A's, they still have a desperation shot at the playoffs. I'm sure they think that they have one. They don't really, but mathematically they're in it. offense went crazy last night. So I think the offense is going to go well again tonight. A lot of juice on that, minus 160-ish. So that's one of the reasons it wasn't one of my plays. But yeah, I think the Cubs will win.
I have another question for you. Something I was looking at pre-show that was, maybe going to make it in the official pick capacity. Red Sox, Nick Pivetta going to Tampa with Shane Baz on the mound. I was going to take a first 5 under in that one. The line was 4 at basically like a coin flip each way. Any thoughts on that one?
It feels like a stay away to me.
Yeah.
When I was doing my initial scan and I saw both of those teams and those starting pitchers, I just went right by it because I was like, it just feels unpredictable to me.
Okay. Kylie Reynolds, he says, San Fran teaser with the Bears plus 7.5. Interesting. Yeah, I don't hate that. Bears visiting the Indianapolis Colts. That should be.
I will be there Sunday. I'll be in attendance.
In Indy. That one's in Indy, right?
Yeah. I live in the Indy area.
No, I hear you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. We'll have to get some sideline reporting from the Snyder.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'll bring some inside scoops.
And by the way, Ryan Kauter, excuse me, I said Kofter before. So Ryan Kauter, sorry about that. And then one more question before we get to the recap screen. Sniper, Moshi wants to know, how do you like the Mets tonight? Tyler McGill on the mound and Mitchell Parker, Mets at home.
Yeah, I answered earlier a couple on that. I like the Mets to win. I was asked about the money line by someone, and I said, I love to get crazy about the run line. My bad. I like to get crazy about the run line sometimes and move the odds down there. My only hesitation on the Mets on that right now is it looks like no Francisco Lindor, and the offense has had to like scrap and scrape runs across the board. So it feels like there's a chance they could win by 1 again. So I would much prefer the money line, even with the juice, to the run line, but I do think the Mets will win.
Okay. I love it. Let's take a look at the recap screen before we get out of here. I've got a look ahead. 49ers -7. That's Sunday, -115 there. Buckets, Juventus, PSV, both teams to score -120. And Bayern, Dynamo Zagreb, first half over 1.5, -120. I think I got that pronunciation right. Sniper, Orioles money line at even money, and the Guardians money line at -122. And the Maestro, Larry Hartstein, Padres money line -110. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being in here. Loving all the picks that I'm seeing, even at the end of the show. Thanks for being in here. Your comments, your questions, your bets, and of course, you hitting the like button. Very much appreciated. So much content coming to you on this channel, on CBS Sports Network. You can find us pretty much everywhere, including SportsLine. You got to be a member of that so you get your picks when all of the experts make them. On behalf of the Maestro, the Sniper, Buckets, Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. Everyone have a great Tuesday. Let's cash some tickets. Let's get another winning recap screen tomorrow morning. I'm the Counselor of Cash. We rest our case.